Hi, everybody. I'm Pratibha Agarwal. I'm an immigration attorney. I'm based right outside of Washington, D.C. in Arlington, Virginia. Our clients, however, are all throughout the United States, and they really call us from everywhere. And they ask the question I get actually more often than anything else: I'm not in the D.C. area. Can you still represent me? Right? I'm not in the D.C. area. Can you still represent me? Yes, if it's an immigration issue, we can still represent you. I can still represent you as long as it is a U.S. immigration law issue. And what's a U.S. immigration law issue? It's basically if you are trying to stay in the country legally, or if you're trying to bring someone to the country, or if you yourself are trying to come into the country. So some of our clients are even outside the U.S., and we're able to help them basically apply for a visa, apply for green cards, and come into the country legally in that way. All right, so we can definitely work with you no matter where you are around the world if you have an immigration issue. Okay, so if you've never joined me before and you're watching, we're streaming live on both Facebook and on TikTok. Feel free to say hello. I can only be here for a few minutes, but this is really an opportunity for you to ask immigration questions. I'm here to answer immigration questions for you. The type of immigration law that I practice is really broad. We help people in all sorts of immigration conundrums, or we help people with all sorts of immigration goals. And that includes, for example, employment-based. If someone wants an employer to sponsor them, we represent them in that situation. If somebody would like a humanitarian case, they're here illegally, they were abused, they were victims of crime, they're afraid to return to their home country, we can help them to obtain a visa and ultimately a green card. So we are set up to help you no matter how, no matter what type of immigration case you might have, as long as the issue is immigration. Okay, we also, of course, help with family-based student visas, individuals, investment visas, anything you could possibly think of. So if you're thinking about a visa and you want to put your question in the chat, I would be happy to chat with you about it here, give you a little bit more insight. All right, I'm going to start off with a couple of questions that come up often in our practice, and that is number one. So we're going to start off kind of with our question of the day, which is pretty much what we do, how we start off. It's just something that comes up often in the practice, and I think you might benefit from it. Okay? And then while I'm talking, feel free to put it into the chat, right? Feel free to put it into the chat, and I will get to your question. Say hello. Hi, Jay. Nice to see you. I have another user asking about VAWA. Hi, Scott. Hi, Best Life. Nice to see everyone here. Okay, so I'm going to start off with one question that came up often. So number one, it's, can I get deported if my VAWA application is denied? Can I get deported if my VAWA application is denied? So to know what I'm talking about here, you want to know what VAWA is, right? So VAWA is a green card application for victims of abuse. Okay, what is VAWA? A VAWA is a green card application for victims of abuse. The most common type that we see are people that are married to U.S. citizens or green card holders, and their spouse is abusive towards them with their words, with the way they control them, threats of deportation, not always physical abuse. Many times no physical abuse at all, but just emotional, psychological, and verbal abuse, meaning they're trying to make you think that you're crazy. They're calling you names. They're putting down your culture and your heritage, where you come from. They're threatening to have you deported if you don't do what they want. This is all different forms of emotional abuse that could help you qualify for a green card if you're married to a U.S. citizen or a green card holder. All right, so if we can help you with that kind of case type, give us a call. We're at 703-348-1663. Again, that's 703-348-1663. All right, so we're going to start off with this. So the question then is, now that you guys all know what VAWA is, the question that comes up pretty often is can I get deported if my VAWA application is denied? Most often people are out of status, right? Most often they entered illegally, or they came in with like a tourist visa, and that status has expired, and you're looking for a way to stay in the country, and VAWA is your only form of application. So the Biden administration has said that people who are denied a VAWA are not considered a deportation priority. What does that mean? That means that you don't automatically get put into removal proceedings if your application is denied, right? You don't get put into removal proceedings. You're not going to get deported just because your VAWA application was denied. What you want to make sure is that everything that we're submitting is truthful, right? It's completely truthful. So everything that we're submitting, as long as it's truthful, you have nothing to worry about. You have nothing to lose. What you have to gain is work authorization in about 6 to 8 months and a green card in about 2 to 2.5 years. Okay? A work authorization in 6 to 8 months and a green card in about 2 to 2.5 years. All right. Let me go through and answer some questions. Okay. Jay Hind. Oh, sorry. One person is asking, can I apply for a VAWA if I'm married with a green card person? That's a really great question. Can I qualify to apply for a VAWA if I'm married to a green card holder? Yes. So VAWA is for people that are married to green card holders or U.S. citizens. So many VAWA applicants are just married to green card holders. If the green card holder is abusive in your marriage in the sense that they're refusing to apply for your green card, they use it as a method of control. There's other things that they're doing to hurt you emotionally or psychologically. You might qualify for this, and you could get Social Security number, work permit, travel authorization to travel back home, and ultimately a green card, right? So all of those benefits start coming as early as 2 to 3 months after we apply. Okay, so we're seeing benefits as early as 2 to 3 months after we apply. All right, give us a call if we can help you with this type of case. Again, it could be a spouse who's a U.S. citizen or a green card holder. Oftentimes they are green card holders. All right, 703-348-1663. Jahan says, if a marriage-based green card with someone filing tax married but separately, is it bad in an interview? No, right? Because when you look, so for a marriage-based green card, if you're having an interview for a marriage-based green card, is it difficult to is it bad if you're filing separately, filing your taxes married, filing separately? One, you're confirming that you're married, and that's a decision that you guys are making. That's totally fine. But also, that decision on whether this marriage is real or just for immigration purposes is really not. It's nothing really. It's not based on one document, right? It's not based on one piece of evidence. It's really they're looking at all of the evidence that you've provided to see if you qualify, to see if this is a real marriage. And let's go back into what are really strong pieces of evidence, right? What is a really strong piece of evidence for a marriage to prove that your marriage is real and not based on not just for immigration purposes? So what I always recommend is evidence of joint residence, right? You're living in the same place, so maybe you have both your names on a mortgage, maybe you have both your names on a lease document. If you have a bank account together, that's great evidence. Of course, you want to show that there's money coming in, money going out to different things, that you're actually using that bank account and it's not just set up for this immigration application, right? Same thing with credit cards. If you have a joint credit card, we see transactions on there, it's actually being used by both of you, then it's more likely that the marriage is real. Of course, photographs are great. People that know you as a couple, writing letters, that's always really helpful. So all of these different pieces of evidence to show that you're actually in a relationship that's not just for immigration purposes. Okay. All right. I hope that's helpful to you, Jahan. But there's many ways to show that, and that taxes thing alone, you're still saying that you're married. I don't actually think that it's negative at all. You're still saying that you're married. And many people choose to file that way, to choose to check that box off as opposed to married filing jointly. Okay. M. Tucker says, how many chances of getting approval in an appeal? What are the chances of getting approval in an appeal? So there's not one number, right? There's not one number as to who's going to get approved in an appeal, right? You have to basically, it depends on how strong your case is. If you provided all of the evidence in the beginning, and it's strong and there's no possible way for the officer to have found the way that they did, then I would appeal. But, many times the appeal can take a long time. It might help you to just reapply, right? I might just suggest that you reapply for whatever benefit that you're looking for. So depending on the timing of what you're doing, right? If it's an H-1B and it's cap subject, then maybe you do want to appeal that case. However, if it's like an O visa and you can apply at any time, you might just consider reapplying with better evidence, because on appeal, you're not necessarily adding new evidence, right? They're looking to see if the decision that was made is not consistent with what was provided. So an appeal really is another look at the same application. You're not necessarily providing new evidence. So if you have new evidence, if you have stronger evidence that you didn't provide the first time, you might just consider reapplying, and sometimes that is faster than if you appeal. Okay, I hope that's helpful. If you can talk to you about your appeal, or if we can talk to you about your immigration application. If you have additional questions, if you want to have a confidential consultation, give us a call at 703-348-1663. Again, that's 703-348-1663. All right. Agarwal says, how much time will it take to get a result of an appeal? That's a really good question. How much time will it take to get a result of an appeal? It can take over a year. I would say a year to a year and a half sometimes. All right. Great. I sometimes I'm looking at these questions. I feel like I don't know where I left off because there's so many of them. So I apologize that I'm sitting here scrolling through your questions. So my apologies. And if you know other people that are interested in immigration, that have immigration questions, make sure you share this post with them. Make sure you like us on Facebook, follow us on TikTok if you want to be notified every time I go live. All right. So again, that's at Agarwal Immigration if you want to keep up with us. All right, so let's see. I'm getting some very nice compliments. Thank you. Okay. Will it affect on citizenship or remove conditions on GC? If you're, again, Jay, it's really not one piece of evidence. It's really all of the evidence that you're providing. All they want to see is that your marriage is real and not just for immigration purposes. So maybe you have a child together, right? And maybe you have a child together. So maybe that's even stronger evidence than your taxes, but that you actually are in a marriage and it's not just for immigration purposes. Okay. How long does I-130 take to get approved, right? How long does I-130 take to get approved? This is the first step in a green card process, and it takes about 9 months. I think it takes about 9 months currently for the approval to come in. All right. So essentially with the I-130, all you're doing is proving your status in the U.S. as either a U.S. citizen or a green card holder, and then your relationship to the person that you're sponsoring. So if it's your parents, if it's your brother or sister, if it's your child, all of you're basically showing that relationship. So through birth certificates, through marriage certificates, things of that nature. Okay. Someone said you don't need to be married. Absolutely, you don't need to be married if you, of course you don't need, no one needs to be married. But if you are married and you want to get a green card or file a green card for your spouse or obtain a green card through your spouse, there are ways to do that, right? There are also ways to obtain a green card if you are not married. You don't have to obtain a green card by marriage. Like for example, if you have parents in the U.S., or your siblings could possibly sponsor you. You can also obtain green cards through work, through employment-based applications, investment-based applications, right? There are many different ways of obtaining a green card. And one of the most popular ways is through humanitarian options. So many people, if they're in the US and they're afraid of returning to their home country, they apply for what's called asylum, which is permission to remain in the US. But after having asylum for a year, they can apply for a green card. Right. And that green card is the same as any other green card. And then after 5 years as a green card holder, they can become a U.S. citizen. So many humanitarian options can lead to a green card, which can lead to a citizenship. So if you have that available to you, I would highly recommend that you take advantage, right? That you take advantage. Someone said, I applied for my brother in 2007. So the I-130 hopefully should have already been approved, right? But the green card doesn't become available for a long time. So if the green card for siblings is taking, I think I checked today, it's about 15 years for a green card to be available. Cryptid says, my mother-in-law is here on a visitor's visa and my wife wants to apply for her green card. Is it possible? Yes, it is absolutely possible. So if you have parents, if you're a U.S. citizen and you have parents visiting here and you've now decided that you want to sponsor them for a green card, yes, we can definitely do that. They would get work authorization, travel authorization, even in about 6 to 8 months. And then the whole green card process for that type of green card is only about a year and a half. So yes, absolutely, we can help you if you want to call us. We're at 703-348-1663. Again, 703-348-1663. And you feel free to log on to Facebook. And if you join our page, which is Agarwal Immigration, at Agarwal Immigration, it's an orange logo. Okay, it's an orange logo. If you get onto our Facebook page, there's a link on there where you can self-schedule your appointment now, because my office is currently closed, but it reopens again at 9 a.m. Eastern time, 9 to 5 Eastern time. Okay, if you want to talk to somebody, it would be 9 to 5 Eastern time. Otherwise, you can log on to our Facebook page and schedule on your own. And there's a link right there for you to do that, and you'll have access to my calendar and see my availability. All right. Okay, I think this is all the questions for today. I have a couple more just pop up. Yes, Crypto said, wow, a year and a half. Yes, but basically after 6 months, Cryptid, I don't know what your name is, but it says Cryptid. Basically after about 6 months, they have permission to sort of live here, to work here, and to travel in and out of the country. So all of those benefits that you get as a green card holder, you kind of get to experience that within 6 months. It's pretty fast. So there's really, it takes a long time to actually get a green card, but those benefits of being a green card holder that most people really enjoy, you can start experiencing them within months. So we can help you. We can definitely help you, walk you through that process. Make sure you file all the right forms. Many people forget to file for benefits that they know that they're eligible for, but didn't know that they were eligible for. Okay. Again, 703-348-1663. Okay. Maji Dio is saying, how long will it take to get a result of an I-140 RFE? So number one, if you premium processed your application, you should, you should get a decision 2 weeks after you responded, right? So if you premium processed your application, you basically get a response from the government within 2 weeks after you apply. If you got an RFE instead of a decision and you reply to that, they should get back to you within 2 weeks as well. Okay, so this should be fast. Otherwise, it can take months. These things are kind of dragging on forever, so I just want to let you know it can take months. Unruly says, I'm a green card holder and I sponsored my husband and my daughter in 2020 and I didn't get approved. So if you live in the US and you're a green card holder, it depends on where is your husband. Are they in the US or are they outside the US? They would need to be in some kind of status if you're applying for their green card. Okay, your husband and your daughter. If they're outside the US, I'm going to say it's going to take at least 2 years. So this year, maybe you will see something. Essentially, the process is longer if you're outside the US. So basically, you file for that petition here. Once it gets approved, it then gets transferred over to the National Visa Center where they just collect all the documents that they need. And then it moves over to the embassy where your family is. And then the embassy will schedule an interview and your family will go in for that interview and get the green card. So it's a really long process and I think it will definitely take at least 2 years. So you're kind of still within the time frame. I know it's a super long time, but it sounds like you're still within the time frame. Okay. Great, Roxy. Roxy just followed us. Awesome. And again, if you haven't already followed us, make sure you do. And if you have friends that have immigration questions, please make sure to share this with them so that they can hop on and ask their immigration questions. Okay. Chawan, I think, says, hello, I'm an Australian citizen and I work as a chef more than 8 years. Can I apply for a US visa? It's possible. Yes, we do those types of visas, several different ways, actually. If you have to have a job offer, however, to come in that way. However, if someone wants to sponsor you for a green card, like an employer, you're able to do that as well. If you have a particular type of cooking that is unusual and that would be benefit to the country, there are also additional ways. So give us a call. We can walk you through that. We're at 703-348-1663. We're doing our consultations by phone and by Zoom, especially for people, for example, that are abroad, like Australia, right? We are doing them by phone, by Zoom, or in person. If you want to fly all the way here to see us in person, we would love to see them. Sea Candy Store says, now I lost it. Says, how long does it take for H4 EAD renewal after biometric completion? It actually takes a really long time. I don't know why, but that process has been taking a really long time. Great. Someone says, we'll reach out soon. That's awesome. Would love to see you. Saritha, thank you. Again, yeah, feel free to follow us if you haven't already. Kayam Jet says, do you have any idea about an I-130? When is the marriage interview coming? So if you filed an I-130 and your spouse is in the U.S., you essentially, hopefully you filed several other applications, right? It's not just the I-130. You have to file adjustment of status. Hopefully you also took advantage of filing for work authorization and travel authorization. So, you know, an I-130 alone is not it doesn't take very long, but you probably won't hear about that until towards the end of that process, which is about 2 years, a year and a half to 2 years. If it's a straightforward, basic green card case, if we can assist you with that, give us a call at 703-348-1663. So I'm saying my citizenship application says decision made for the last 6 months. So if you haven't gotten that, you might want to call and let them know that you haven't gotten the documents, and they will send it to you again. Okay. So if that status says something like that, you should reach out to them, and they will definitely send it to you. Okay. Someone is saying, I'm Canadian and I have an L1A and I'm moving to the US in April. How long will it take to get a green card? Excuse me. How long will it take to get a green card? So L1A, some categories of L1A will qualify for a green card. The same thing for EB1, right? It's the EB1 employment-based category. So if you have an L1A, you should maybe consider applying for this. You can premium process it, which means you can premium process the application and also the adjustment of status, the petition and the adjustment of status application. So you could do that within the I-140 can be processed within 2 weeks, right? Which is the petition. And then the green card application, there's no way to expedite that portion of it. But once it's filed, that means you're allowed to be here. And then usually about 6 months before you get work and travel authorization, and then close to a year before you get an interview and the green card is approved. Okay. We have several people following us today. That's awesome. Thank you for doing that. Make sure you share this. Let people know that I'm here answering immigration questions if you want us to help. All right. Philly says, are there exceptions for nonprofit green card application process? I'm not sure what that is. Roxy says, my mother-in-law's green card expired last year while she visited her son in Russia. How can I reapply for her? So there are various methods if your green card has expired. You could call us. It's a little bit more complicated than it seems. Definitely call us. We can walk you through it. But there's, for people whose green card has expired, you can basically reapply for it at the embassy. There's a process. There's a channel for that. We can walk you through that process. You call us for consultation, 703-348-1663. It's a little bit extensive for this forum. Okay, but I would love to chat with you about it, so call me. All right. I don't believe there's a green card option for just nonprofits like hospitals. I think it would still be an employment-based sponsorship. Yeah, it would still be an employment-based sponsorship. Call us. We can walk you through that process. 703-348-1663. Sanjay says, I question my case approval. I go out of America. I'm not sure. Cheetown, I'm not trying to ignore your question. I actually don't know where it is. I think I might have skipped over it. All right, guys, I think that's it for me for today. Thank you so much for joining me. I'm on frequently, so please feel free to share this with people. Follow us on Facebook and on TikTok if you think if you want to learn about immigration, if you want to chat with me more about your immigration case. And of course, share this with other people since I come on live and immigration is so complicated and I'm able to really advise on sort of different types of immigration questions. Okay. All right. Okay, great. Micaiah, I would need to talk to you. I see your question on Facebook. I actually don't know if you've been maintaining status, so I need to check on that. So you should give me a call, and I'll be happy to talk to you about your employment-based immigration case. Okay. I hope everyone is doing well and has a wonderful evening, and I will talk to you soon. Hopefully, give me a call for consultation if you're interested. All right. Thanks, everybody. Bye.